Call the meeting to order, please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did we have an agenda for the
No, I was out there talking with you guys and getting. I told you. We're gonna wing it. Councilwoman Schott, would you please lead us in prayer?
Actually, this evening, we're going to do a moment of silence for George H.W. Bush.
I got that email from Governor Kasich. They send out that thing to all the, of course it's pouring down rain, I'm down here fighting with that flag. Finally,
I'll bring that up later about getting some new flags put up.
Yeah, that flag's in bad shape.
I've seen that.
So I've got my wife out there with a umbrella to hold it. All right, let me find my paper here. Everybody's here tonight. The minutes.
Motion for the minutes?
Bennett? Thayer?
Abstain.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney? Bailey?
Yes.
Shuck?
Yes.
Bills.
Motion. Second?
Bennett? Yes. Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Shuck?
Yes.
Workers' time report. I think I've seen one in there. Yep. Fireman's time.
Motion for fireman's time?
Bennett?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Shuck?
Yes.
Clerk treasurer's report when you're ready, Deb.
The council voted to go with Verizon. I signed the paperwork, they ordered the phones, and the phones really were received the next morning. They're sitting back there in the small office. The phones that we get for $85, but they credit us $85, we don't have to pay anything. They sent 2 additional, just in case, after they talk to the fire department, if they could use one of the one number that they have there that's already on a Spectrum. But if we don't use it, we can send them back.
Okay. Cool.
The Spectrum Cable Charter Communications came out and did the site evaluation. It's completed. The gentleman is handling that contract, said the village cost for 1 year is going to be $64.98 for our building only. It's a site into the side of our building, and it'll come in through the back by the window, just like the existing cable. And then it'll run through our hardware that's in that small office and be dispersed to our computers. After the first 12 months, it will go to $99 per month. I talked to Pat Corrigan last week. He was not happy about us doing this without consulting him. I don't believe he realized that we were searching only to improve our phone system and our costs here. I explained to him I did not want to step on the toes of the other departments and make changes for any reason, because he would have to work with them and also Verizon would. At this point in time, Verizon explained to me that this is not a hybrid system, which hybrid means 2 ways. It is run through our existing board in the basement, okay? And the communication would run through our existing phone lines that come out of our walls. They would supply another board or a box in the basement. Verizon system attaches to our computers. They will run a line where the internet comes into our computers to our phones. That's why when we had the meeting, they kept asking, how many phones do you need for the computers that you have? I questioned them if our IT man had to do anything, and they told me absolutely not. When we're ready to set up, they will arrange for the workers to come in, hook us up, run the lines from our computer to my phone.
Verizon will.
Verizon will.
Okay.
They will do that. The only thing that I got from Mr. Corrigan, from PC Repair, was that our, I think what it's called, our firewall is too small. Firewall is what protects us, and we will have to go with a bigger firewall. And we'll address that when he comes back to town. He's away right now, so nothing will be changed until after the 14th of December.
All the other departments have to, he's gotta look at this, in other words, like sewer.
I'm not even worried about it. I
Okay.
wanna get this done.
Well, I'm just asking.
If they need to change, that's gonna be between Donnie and Lonnie and Verizon. I
Okay.
mean, I don't want to do that. I'm looking to save money here. If we can save money there later, fine.
Okay.
But I'm worried about this building only. This building only was the savings that I reported to you at the last couple meetings, not the other departments. This,
It's not including the fire department, it's only here.
only this,
Okay.
this building. I'm requesting permission, to hold the holiday luncheon for the employees on December 19th for 1 hour. The workers seem to like pizza, chicken, and JoJo's. They like that. So I wanted your approval to do that, and then we would hold it on the 19th, and anybody else who wants to attend and plan, they need to let us know so we make sure we order enough for everybody.
You said you're gonna have JoJo's, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You need a motion for that?
Well, yeah, and that'll be the day too that the hams will be ready at Lucas Market.
I
So
make
they'll
a
be-
motion.
Is there a price on this you want?
I don't know the price, I didn't call. We said we would contact Pizza Shop in Brewster, they used to be here, you know.
Okay.
Make a motion to
Second.
George, you second? Okay.
Oh.
Bennett?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Hartman? McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
And then in your packets on your desk, I gave everybody a copy of the Fire Logic contract. Someone had mentioned it last time, you hadn't seen it. And a copy of what Logic distributed with the contract with information on the cost for the departments. The legislation I have is the second reading of 2 resolutions. Resolution 18-16, a resolution making the temporary appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Beach City, State of Ohio. Can be your second reading. Be the second reading of Resolution 1817, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the Village of Beach City, Ohio to sign a 1-year Logic Red Center contract providing for dispatch services for the fire and police departments.
We got one more meeting before that, so.
Correct. And then I seem to give everybody a couple copies of ordinance 1818. That may have been the wrong number. An ordinance to increase the 2018 appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the water funds of the Village of Beach City, Ohio. We have collected just in our receipts more money than I had assumed we were going to collect. I was low. But we spent even more money because of the $17,000 that we paid to ADR for the project, and we haven't been reimbursed for it. Due to the fact that I have additional money available that we can encumber, I like to encumber this $20,000, so if we have any problems at the water plant, the next month we're covered. Donnie wanted to order a couple water meters, and I asked him to wait but the more I think about it, with my luck, if I don't increase our appropriations, something else will happen and I'll need the money anyhow.
Well, actually, we wanna do this before the end of the year. Would you be better off if we went ahead and suspend the rules and get rid of it now?
Either now or the next meeting. It doesn't
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules on 1818.
I'll second that.
Bennett?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
Schott?
Yes.
Motion to pass.
second.
Bennett? Fair?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
That's all that I have.
Okay, thank you. I can't. We'll talk about this at the end. We have some members from the CIC here tonight, some officers. You guys had some questions at a meeting in November, and you asked me to get a hold of them. Do you remember what the questions were? I know we had some questions concerning the Fall Festival, about the 501c3.
Gene come up with why we can't work together some way or other. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, no, my understanding was when the CIC was founded, it was a basic organization which was set up to help the village raise money and do things that we as a council didn't have the money to do. And when Hazel come to you guys and asked you to help with this project she wants to start, she was turned down. Now my question is, are you a part of the village all the time or just when you want to be? And as a past president of the CIC, as somebody who has contributed a lot of money to it, I kind of resent your position.
So what exactly do you want me to address? Seems like there's multiple things here.
Hazel?
I guess, where we wanted to, have you to allow us to have a area in your funding that could be just set aside for the festival monies to channel through you to get what we need to do.
Okay, so, when you guys came to our meeting, and it sounded logical to us to do that too, but we wanted to check with Dan Cloa. He has, been the CIC financial advisor since day one, probably set the accounts up. And while he was very, careful to state that he was not gonna tell us, what to do, but he made us aware of two factors. One is that as long as our receipts are under $50,000, we can file a simple tax return. It's basically a postcard. And he has been doing our taxes that we have to file every year pro bono, The second thing is that if there's another organization under the CIC umbrella, or, another like subgroup, then we are responsible for everything they do. So any activities, any contracts they enter into comes under the CIC. And we know everybody is hopeful that this is gonna be a really positive event. Sometimes things just happen. And we are just not comfortable being responsible for transactions that we have not been involved in making. So that was our reasoning for declining, that request to come under.
But was that stated to you?
I don't think she stated it my understanding, you didn't state it that way, but you said it was the responsibility that you was concerned about.
That was a concern.
So in in other words, nobody can do anything in the village unless it's approved by you people and you're running the show.
No,
That's what it sounds like, but you're just saying if anybody does anything else, it falls under you and then you become responsible for it.
If the other subcategories money is in their accounts, then they are responsible. That's what you're saying, I believe, right? Does that help?
Then we're responsible for it. And that's where we're not comfortable, is that we're responsible for something that we're not helping to make the decisions or entering into the contracts or whatever it is.
Was there a reason why you didn't want to participate?
You know, that, so the CIC has become, so our core group, and you know that we go back to you, I mean, I go back to underneath you, then underneath Bev. Most of our core group have been with, since the inception of the whole park, you know, the whole CIC, the whole park. And so we have somewhere between 10 and 15 years of volunteer work with the park. And we have enjoyed and want to maintain a good working relationship with the village. But in our core group, which is 6 people right now, all of them are active in other civic and church organizations. Some of us are still working full-time. Several of our members experienced personal issues this year. We've had 3 hospitalizations. One had a family member with a hospitalization. We have scaled back our activities. For example, we went to monthly meetings instead of every 2 weeks. And we're okay with that because we feel like we're in more of a maintenance phase with the park, but as opposed to when we were in the building phase. We have people that we can call on for projects, but we are stretched very, very thin. We did an activity this weekend, and we basically were down to 3.5 people to do that activity. So the festival is also scheduled for early September. That's our race month. It requires all the personnel resources we have. And that is our main fundraiser, so we don't want to lose doing a good job with that. So it's not that we're saying we don't want to participate so much, but we are stretched thin to do what we've committed to do. And we want to do a good job with that. And, you know, hopefully there are other people in the village that can take the festival and go with it. But for most of us on the committee, the CIC, the park, takes what we can give in the way of time.
But if I remember correctly, the park was not the sole purpose of the CIC.
No, but in
That was-
reality, Gene, that is what's happened. That the
I
park
mean, there has to
was
come a
that.
time though, when the park is done. I mean, when we started, the village had just purchased that land. And we sat down and we made the plans, had them drawn up, and had it done. I would think that we're now at the time where the park should go into a maintenance phase, possibly under the village, and which would relieve the CIC to go into other areas and do. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just telling you, way back, that was the initial plan. Once we had the park done, then we were going to go into other areas in the village that we thought needed our help. You know, of course, in conjunction with the council and the mayor. I have a lot of respect for Danny, so if Danny told you that about the finances, I have no doubt that he knows what he's talking about. The thing of it was, it was really explained to us why you were so hesitant to help. It just sounded like you don't want to be bothered. And that's what irritated me about it. You know, I thought, I don't remember anybody asking me if I was irritated about donating money and time and that to the CIC, which I always did and which I was glad to do. I am for anything to turn this village around and keep it from spiraling into nothingness. We are eventually going to come to a point, in my opinion, that they're going to tear down the corporation limits and Sugar Creek Township is going to take us in. Unless the people in this village put their head on their shoulders and start doing what they should do. I don't think they realize that when the police department's gone, when the fire department's gone, when the street department's gone, when the sewer department's gone, they're gonna be run by somebody else, and odds are it's gonna be a private concern. And they think they've got problems now, I'd be willing to bet you're gonna have a lot more.
You're preaching to the choir here.
I know, I totally agree.
I mean, we have put in hours and hours and hours and hours, you know, trying the village. And I really felt that I stopped and explained this to Hazel when, you know, after we had talked to Danny. And we have all along been upfront about the time commitments.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I mean, when I was the president of CIC, I was still working too. And I mean, I would have to rush home from Coshocton where I was working to go to the meetings. And I mean, it was time consuming. Plus, there was things you had to deal with that you didn't have the time to deal with because you had to first make a living. And I understand, and I'm very sympathetic to what you're saying. It just appeared to me from the things that I started to hear that you were just totally indifferent. And it was just something that was an idea to come up for the betterment of the village. And I just assumed that you would become indifferent to it. And I thought, personally, well, why have you? If you're not going to do why you were set up to do, then why have you? But like I said, now that you've explained, you know, the problems that you have with your funding, with your people, well, yeah, I understand, you know, but that's not the story that was out on the streets in Beach City.
Well, it would have been nice if someone had called one of us, you know, and we could have explained it further. I mean, I thought I had done a thorough enough job, but obviously, you know, obviously I did, so.
Well, I think if you guys would have come to our meeting and explained it to us instead of just telling Hazel, then we might have been able to ask you questions and stuff. I'm talking about when we had one of the festival meetings that we had invited you to. And, you know, you thought you had done a thorough enough job, you know, I'm just, because she was under the impression, what was it, that you just didn't want the responsibility under, you know, that was her impression, was mostly the responsibility. I do have a question though, since Danny said that if you make over $50,000, it's not a postcard anymore. Does that mean you never wanna make $50,000 for the village, or, I mean, I'm not you personally, but I mean, he wants you guys to stay under a certain amount so that there's not.
I don't know, I think that
But-
was just another.
And
Yeah,
I'm,
I
you
mean,
know, what I'm
the
saying
park,
is.
we're not, you know, I mean, all of our fundraising efforts are designed to be put back in that park, so I don't see a need. Well, we're looking for $50,000, but the term, I think, is $50,000 of receipts. So I don't think we're talking
Of
about
receipts.
profit, it's receipts seem to be the key word there.
Does that sound right, Stephen?
Yeah,
Does it?
and it's probably that he's doing it pro bono, and the point at which you hit 50, he's gonna, I can't do it, yeah, I'm not gonna do it for free, and it becomes complicated.
Well, yeah, and that's, I mean, I wish you guys would do 50,000. I mean, it would definitely be worth your paying him if you were getting those receipts. I don't want you to limit yourselves because of the tax thing is what I'm saying. I'm not,
But
and,
we're a long way from 50.
and I know
mean,
that,
we're
and I
around-
know that.
We're around 2. you
and
know.
I, well, yeah.
It's a long way,
But
it's a
this-
long way, you know.
But this seemed to, you know, raise the question of the $50,000,
Right.
which, you know, that'd be great if you made 50,000 or had 50,000 in receipts, you know. So I don't want to see you limit yourself, so you don't have to pay tax to have taxes prepared, you know, which, and like I said, I know you're a long way from that's not an issue right now. And we do appreciate what you people do. We know that there's a small core of people that does it. I know I can name them. I think I could name them all. I don't know about that half person. You said, yeah, 3.5. I don't know who that one is, but.
I told Dottie a long time ago, when we were talking about the CIC, I said, the CIC will come down to 6 to 10 women, because the men are indifferent, and I don't care who knows it, but it was 145 people the night we started the CIC.
Yeah.
And I told Dottie, we were sitting there, I said, it will come down to 6 to 10 women who will grab this bull by the horn and they will take and make it work. And when I decided that I didn't seem to have what it took to get the people to do anything, I had a guy ask me why I didn't fire somebody from the CIC, and I said, how do you fire somebody from a from a volunteer organization? Are you nuts? But I'm gonna apologize to you, but for what I said and what I thought. The next time I will call you. You know, I said, I apologize. Because like I said, I heard this stuff, and I just, once again, you figure the people who's telling it to you know what they're talking about. And one of these days, I'm gonna be 70 in May, maybe I'll find out that people have their own agenda, and it isn't necessarily what you wanna hear, you know? So, I apologize.
Do we have any other questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything you've done for us and the support, and we've enjoyed doing it. I think that's why we've hung in there all these years, you know, we've had a good camaraderie with everybody, and when we need this done or that done, we have this person or that person that doesn't come to meetings all the time, and it's been good.
I have a question for you ladies. Without investing the time into everything else, why couldn't you be involved with that program that Hazel wanted to start here without investing the time, but being,
Supervising this.
you know, like supervising it or having knowledge of everything that goes on? You know, after they have a committee meeting, you let the CIC know what's going on. And then go like that. That way you're still involved in it, but you don't have to invest the time, like just overseers.
I'm okay with that. Just, you guys will then give us the information or
Right.
whatever. I'm willing to commit some of that to that. We could probably go
That way,
back to our.
that way you would know everything that was going on, you would be totally involved in it,
Mhm.
but you wouldn't have to invest the time.
Is that even possible to be totally involved in something without investing
Yeah,
time?
they would
Example.
involve, more or less, with the process of it without being involved working at it. You
Kinda
would be
like
involved
behind-
in the process, you would know everything that was going on.
Okay, I got you. They
Behind
would be in the
it.
loop, they would know
Right.
what's going on, we wouldn't be asking them of any.
For any,
So Hazel and them would have to end up with a 501.
No.
No,
Since you can't run the money through.
as long as they were overseeing it and supervising it, and Hazel and them, that committee was telling them what they were gonna do in it, they were okay with it.
Well, they
I
haven't
don't
said that.
think the money wise,
Huh?
they didn't
They
say the
didn't say
money
that.
wise. they
Isn't
said-
that what you were saying, or did I misunderstand?
I'm not sure, could you repeat that?
Okay, if you're overseeing, this committee and that, because they wanna use your tax exemption, are you okay with that?
see, the village cannot put on a program in itself because we're not allowed to make money as this
As
unit.
an entity, we just spend.
Right, we just spend it, we're not allowed to actually make the money. Your organization, on the other hand, is allowed to make so much money under 501c3 as long as you put it back the way it's supposed to go. Donate it to certain entities and stuff like that. The only thing we're looking at is the money that we're looking at making is going to go back into the next year's production to make it even a better, hopefully better, so that we can eventually make something happen for this village that is very good for it, to bring people from outside in to help celebrate this festival and work at it from there. But I know the first year it's not gonna make $30,000. I know that. Unless it's a fluke and it goes well beyond what I'm thinking is gonna happen. Because, there's been a lot of, people talked to about wanting to put booths in and stuff. I don't think it's gonna make all that much money. So what I'm saying is that the money that was made from this year would more or less go to help pave the way for future endeavors. And then the money could still be put back into the park and other areas in the village that need it. Like, oh God, there's so many things this village needs. But, you know, just put the money back to invest back into the village.
I think we would have to have another discussion about that because, you know, Tammy Lucas has been our treasurer for, again, ever. And I know she has some real concerns. We have been audited twice. And, you know, she's the one that's had to deal with that auditor coming in. You know, she feels like she knows what we did. You know, she knows and she's able to pull the documents and you know, again, I know you're suggesting that, so we get a detailed report or somebody comes to our meeting and they keep constantly an update.
I was under the impression the festival would have their account fund totally separate, but under our organization, is that correct?
That way-
Our monies would not be mixed together.
Right.
Correct.
Okay,
But it's still that same level of responsibility
right.
that we are responsible for, you know.
So in the next audit that they bring up, if they pull the year, like next year, you put your money in, they're gonna want their records and all
And then
your
your
records,
records.
and they're gonna be responsible for what you people did. And if you made mistakes and did stuff wrong, their group will take the hit on with the government. And that's a lot of responsibility. I get it because of the audits we've been through. This is why they don't want the money running through the village itself.
Well, there's a thing also that the village cannot make money off enterprise like that.
Exactly.
Well, it can.
But you can't hold this thing and keep them exempt from it, from any problems with it.
No,
Even if you keep the money separate.
they're still
They're still gonna
liable.
come back and say, you're the umbrella organization over all this stuff.
All right.
So you're therefore responsible for what they did or did not do. Well, I don't, honestly, I don't blame them.
But
I
the
mean,
prob-
again, if
the
we-
problem you run into is everything that somebody wants to do then is you're gonna have to have a separate 501 for every single thing. And so you're starting little CICs everywhere. I mean, that's
Well,
what we wanna
The
avoid. We
thing
don't
is,
wanna-
you still have them responsible. The
Well,
CIC
no,
is gonna still be responsible.
Not if they have their own.
That will,
I
that
mean,
will,
he's saying if they start their own.
okay,
not
that
the problem.
absolves you from being,
Right.
Right.
I
Any
don't-
part of it?
I don't
Yeah.
want every festival to have, or every whatever, to have a separate,
Yeah.
But
I mean, if
that's-
it's all,
But that's the legality of it.
I know,
They
but
would have-
ultimately,
they-
somebody's gotta be responsible.
They have to have the 501(c)(3), they'd have to have a
It's like
special
you have to
insurance
apply for a
policy.
501c3, Hazel.
The CIC went through a lot just to get set up. I'm serious, a lot. And when she wanted to do this, she wanted to take this on. Now, the CIC apparently can't help them, or it's in the best interest not running it through them. They didn't say they wouldn't come in and help, they wouldn't maybe have a booth. But to handle it financially and responsibility-wise,
Well, basically, bottom line here is, if anybody wants to do anything to help improve the community, they have to do it by themselves on their own. You know what I'm saying? It's just exactly what Jack said. Anybody who tries to do anything for the community is gonna have to set up their own organization.
If
And
you're gonna
I
hold a
did-
big festival or, yeah.
And I did ask Danny today how difficult that would be, and then he started naming. No, I didn't remember, I mean, it's been quite a while, I didn't
We
remember, and I
gotta come
wasn't.
up with bylaws and you gotta
Yeah,
have.
he said that articles of incorporation and, you know,
Yeah.
all those things, so that's why when it was first presented us, it seemed logical to us too. So, that's that.
That's the only part that we were trying to really avoid, having to set up the whole committee thing, the whole bylaws, and everything else for that. And then filing for our own, another 501c3. Because there are so many things, articles of incorporation, you've gotta have bylaws, the whole works you have to do. You have to have so many charter members, or so many members for the whole thing. I think it's 10 that you gotta come up with, at least 10 members to hold, to start it. There's a lot to start in a 501c3.
So Hazel, what you'll probably have to do is go to your committee and make sure that they're committed on wanting to go forward with this and doing the, setting up your own 501. I guess that's the next step, unless I'm wrong. I mean, is that how you guys see it? It just seems like we're all one community, I don't. I mean,
Well,
I
don't you
understand
run-
what you're saying, don't get me
you
wrong,
run
I
into a
fully
problem
understand.
too with elected officials being part of this? Don't you have a
Well,
conflict of
we're-
interest?
Yeah, I don't think you can pass, like you've all said, you can't funnel the money for the event through the village, which is where the 501c3 comes in. The purpose of the 501c3 is to benefit the village, so that it can hold things like this. There's always gonna be liability.
And it has nothing to do with the village, it just so happens that two members of the committee happen to be on council, it has nothing to do with the
That is what I'm
council.
saying. Can they be office holders in
And-
this hierarchy
You'd
without having a conflict of interest?
And I think it's a 7-step conflict analysis you have to go through. The most important of which would be if there's, the control of money is somehow tied between the two. Like if I am controlling money and, the money's going to that 501c3 and you're sitting on the board of both, it could be a problem. I just know that's the most important piece is the money, and even for me sitting here, there's certain things that I could or couldn't do with my other role. And because the money's totally separate, it's a separate municipal corporation, it doesn't matter. It could be, I'd have to look at whether or
But
not.
I talked to Madden one time and about it and about council members, how involved could they be in the CIC before they stepped over the limit, you know? And it came down to the money in that, you know?
Right.
But remember this, he tried to convince me to step up and become a member and run their books for him. Now, if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know
That would
about this.
definitely be a conflict.
That
Yeah.
mean, so he was mistaken in how he was looking at things.
I'm guessing you didn't.
No, I didn't do that.
Well, I would suggest, let us go back and especially, let us reassess it, all the conversation and let me come back to you. I'll either make a phone call to someone or let me go back, especially to Tammy. She had intended to be here tonight again and didn't work out, so.
My whole thing is, we're all one village, and we're all wanting to do what's best for the village. And I was just wanting to work together to do this and see if we can't do it. And if we have to try to find 10 residents that want to be on this committee with Hazel to start the paperwork, we'll have to look for 10 residents. And I know I can't be involved because it'd be a conflict of interest. Personally, Jean can't. Hazel is gonna have to be on the outside looking in because she, even though she's the one who had this wonderful idea of having this festival for the village, if we start a 501c3, she's gonna have to be on the outside looking in, because she would not be, there would be a conflict of interest for her also, because we sit on this council.
Well, let's let them have their meeting and see what, if you guys are
And
willing to
we'll have to
reassess
have
it,
a
look at it,
meeting.
and let us know, and then
Let's reassess it.
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay, we will do
Fair
that.
enough?
All
Is that
right.
good for everybody? Okay. Thank you very much for coming. I'm sorry that, I wasn't here last time. I wasn't able to make that one.
Just allowed everything to stew for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Well,
At least we
everybody,
got-
so.
At least the air's cleared.
Yeah, well, I am grateful for that, thank you.
And we do appreciate you folks for what you do for your village too.
And we know, Gene, you have supported us all along, we have appreciated your family.
I mean, I think the CIC is one of the greatest things, the idea we ever come up with, And hopefully, we'll eventually be able to get the people in this village to realize it's in their best interest to make sure this village succeeds.
I hope so, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, we
And-
had dreams too, that we would
It's-
move
it's
on
like
to some other things,
The
but.
6 of us, and the mayor, and the clerk, and Steve, we can all sit here and bang our heads against this table, and as long as we can't get the community behind us, we might as well stop doing it, because all we're gonna have is a headache. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, ladies.
thank you.
Thank you for waiting.
Who we go to? Fire department. You don't have anything tonight, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
He got his own special meeting. It wasn't good.
You had your own special meeting with us
I know, now
so
we gotta follow up with
you're
that special
done.
meeting. Calls here to date for the fire department, 246. As of the same date last year, we were at 245, so we're running neck and neck with calls, just like we have been pretty much all year. Our priority one grant, we got the money, we got the payroll through, we went ahead and ordered the rest of the stuff that you guys had already approved, that is the reimbursable grant. That is gonna get us the AED at the fire department, the light pack cord for our new light pack 15, and 2 sets of vacuum splints. It's all been ordered, it's all been submitted to the state, and should be getting approval for reimbursal here soon. So that stuff's all been taken care of. On Tuesday, December the 11th, that is when we were gonna have Santa on the fire truck going around town passing out toys to all the kids. We do that every year. Hopefully the weather will hold out, so if you see the fire truck running around with lights and sirens, you'll know why. We're probably gonna use the old engine just because it works easier. We found that out last year.
What time does that start?
That, we're gonna try to start that at 5 or 5:30. Normally, we do our family Christmas party at this station the same day. We usually make our kids wait. This year, we're gonna try to do it opposite. So we're gonna try to do the village first and then come back, and that way Santa can enjoy our party and not have to worry about rushing around, so. I do have 2 resignations I need you to approve. I do not have a written resignation from either. I actually have a written resignation from one. I did not bring it. She wrote it on a piece of paper this big. Don't ask me why. That is resignation of Heather Parrott and also the resignation of Johnny Hartman. We have read them at the last 3 business meetings of the association, and they've been accepted, and I need you guys to approve them 2 resignations.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignations. For both parties,
There, what?
for both parties.
Oh.
Yeah, just, I'm writing here. Bennett,
Yes?
Fair,
Yes.
Hartman, McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Chuck.
Yes. Are these people that we paid to train?
These people, well, we did not pay for Heather Parrott's training. We did pay for a background check. Heather actually paid for her own training, and going through fire school, she developed health problems that she was not aware she had. So she was not able to complete the schooling. She had seek care through a doctor, and it's just not something that she's gonna be able to do. As far as Mr. Hartman, we did pay for his first responder, and he has worked out with the clerk a payment plan to reimburse that money, and that was between Debbie and him, and I've stayed out of that, but as far as I know, that's being taken care of, correct? Or already taken care of?
I just kinda wanted to get that
Okay.
on record.
Yeah, so really with these two, no, the only thing we've got in them is a background check and, a physical, and that's it. Going back to 2 meetings ago, we talked about the contracts on the AEDs. We need to make a decision on what we're doing with them contracts. That's gotta be written up, it's gotta get back to physio control. Do we wanna continue to do the service contract as we did? Do we wanna drop the service contracts and try to save a little bit of money? Is that something that you guys have even pondered since we left the last time?
I have,
Okay.
I've thought about this, and what I wanna know is the recommendation from
Most
the
places,
man right there.
most places, the businesses that carry them AEDs, and this is honest, I'm not gonna say they're right, I looked into it. Timken Corporation and your malls and that, they have them checked every 3 years. Now, is that the proper thing to do? I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that. The manufacturer tells you every year. Now, I do know batteries are made to last 3 years. Manufacturer tell you replace it every 3 years. That's why a lot of businesses have gone to, on the AEDs alone, inspecting them every 3 years.
Well, we come up with a price the last time you were
Yes.
here. You decided, you think we ought to do it, is that right?
Like I said, and I was honest with you guys the first time, it's one of them quandaries. It truly
It's a
is.
chance you take.
Right, because if you put them on the service plan, as I say, 2 of them are $360 each one. One of them's $396. A replacement is $1,693. In fact, it's less than that because that's with the wall cabinet. That's with the $200 wall cabinet. It's actually $1,200 to replace it. That's where you get into a quandary. I mean, we do have 2 units, and it happens to be there 2 that we have to look into shortly replacing anyhow. They have the oldest 2 units.
Well, the things save life, I'll tell you the truth.
Absolutely, they're
I
worth
think
every
we ought to go
single
with
penny.
it for at least one time and see what happens till the next time. Is that a
Once
year
you pull
contract?
these off, once we pull these off, they're not gonna put them back on. You'll have to buy new to recontract them.
We're saving.
It's where you gotta be
I
careful.
think we wanna go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and renew the contract.
Renew the contract with them on it. Sounds great to me. It
That's
gives
all right.
everybody,
What do you
I'm
think
not
the rest
pushing
of
one
it?
way or another,
This is something.
I understand.
right?
I just don't want batteries running out.
Right, and
It ain't
I
no
just, I just wanted you guys to be informed exactly what you're spending and how much. And that's all I'm doing there.
good. Is there any problem with anybody with going ahead with the contract? How many years is that, 1 year?
1 year, every year. We renew
So
this contract every year.
It's $1,200 or so for the 3 of them.
$360 for 2 of them. It's $396 for 2 of them.
So it's about $1,150, a little less than that.
Debbie, is there any problem at all with the money to pay for that at all?
Oh, we've paid that every year. That's,
Every year.
and that's something coming out in
I'll make a
January,
motion to go
February.
ahead and do the contract.
Okay, I'll call them. That's, as long as all 6 of you guys agree with that, that's what I'll call them and have them do.
Well, hang on, let us vote.
Yeah.
Let them vote.
Right?
Bennett,
Yes.
Thayer,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes,
and Schott.
Yes.
okay.
That's what I need, thank you.
All right, last thing I got, like I waited till last. You all got a packet on the table. You guys, thank you very much for attending the meeting last Tuesday over at the firehouse. I think it was a pretty informative meeting. I also, like I said over there, I think this is something we seriously need to figure out. We gotta do something. We're running 2-man crews during daylight hours at best, and we cannot continue to lift patients the way we're lifting them. In that packet, you see what she done is she has provided you, which she said she was gonna do. If we sign a contingent agreement with Stryker before the 14th of December, she is saving us $3,700 per system. So you're looking at 7,000, whatever that is. And if we do the 3-year payment plan, if that's even possible, that's $13,000 savings in interest. The way that boils out, if you look at the second page of your packet, your payment plan would be the $40,000 the first year, which would be your BWC grant, and then it'd be 2 annual payments of $26,289.51. The only way I can tell you that we can get that lower is if we would put money in with the payment of the grant the first year, and then we could divide it amongst 3 payments instead of 2. But it's definitely, I mean, it's still a hefty payment, there's no doubt about it. The only other option, if we're gonna do 2 COTS, is to do the full interest over the 6 years. And then we're looking at the $40,000 the first year, and then a payment of $13,152.07 each year after that for 5 years.
Oh, wait a second. We're gonna pay interest on the 6 year, including the 3 years?
No, the 3 year is interest free.
Okay.
The six years, if you go the 6 years, yes, you're gonna pay interest from the very root.
Yes, you're gonna pay.
You're gonna pay interest, so yes, I guess what you just asked, that question is yes.
What interest
I
rate
don't
are they
like that.
charging us?
Well, no kidding.
I don't like it, but I mean,
It'd be $13,000 in interest.
Now, the other option that I brought up, and I can't tell you this until I talk to them, every year, we receive the Priority 1 grant, which is the grant we just spent the money on. There is a possibility, I don't know, I would imagine, I would say I'd give a $100 bill that we could do it at least for 1 year. I don't know if they'll carry it for more than 1 year, but that's usually around $6,000 a year, $5,000 a year we bring in with that State of Ohio EMS grant. We could maybe put that money towards that payment each year, because it is for the purchase of equipment. If that's the case, we could knock that payment down that $5,000 or $6,000, but until I talk to the state, I can't swear to that. That I can't answer. And I would hate to even tell you that it can happen until I know for sure. I can't swear to that.
And these prices are until the 14th.
These prices are till the 14th. After the 14th, the prices go up. What she gave me is price on a single. Right now, the price on the single is $44,000, which is half of the 88. After the 14th, the price of the single goes up to $47,000. Hold on a minute. Goes up to $47,973. Goes up $3,700 a cop. So this is a deal that she had told you that she would get you before the end of the year. And after that, she couldn't swear to it. Maybe we could go back to the drawing board. I don't know. I talked to
What's the
her.
interest rate they're charging us?
She did not tell me
she
that
did say
because
7% over there, but I didn't agree with that.
she didn't tell me the interest rate because at the time we were pretty
It says in
certain
here
that we
that
weren't
they're taken
interested.
from the ICE market, ICE.com market data reports 180 under the USD rates, 1100 series. She has it in the papers, but it doesn't say the percentage.
And like I said, this is all obviously contingent that we can get the BWC grant. I have not reached out to the BWC because there's no sense in me reaching out until I know if we can even proceed, so.
How do you propose to pay the $26,000?
How do I propose we pay the $26,000? I don't know, I would have to look at our budget. The only thing I know, and this is what we talked a little bit before the meeting, our tanker payment years ago was about $26,000 a year. We made that payment, we also made a squad payment, but we do now have an engine payment. I don't believe the engine payment is that high, but I would have to run numbers through Debbie and everything else. I didn't get this till Saturday, and I'm on days this week, so I didn't have a chance to come over and talk to Debbie. I'm not trying to storm us on you, Debbie, I apologize, I didn't get it till Saturday.
If, and I've got Georgie's, go down, if you look at this, it's called the fund report. I give you this at the end of every month. This is the close of November, okay? You go to fire. Fire has $13,639.29 cash available. I've got one more month I have to pay the utilities, I have to, this is a bad year because I've got the money encumbered for the radios too. But I'm not signing a loan for anything if I think it's gonna take a $13,000 down to a zero. I mean, if I've got $13,000 that I have to finish this month out, month of December, and I already know that here their lodging's over $1,000, okay? Then I've got the rest of the utilities, their phone that I have to cover, and any other expenses that they have. Yeah. For their squad.
I know.
I can tell you right now that last month they only did, I think, 4 billable runs. Kathy thought 3, but I think maybe there was 4.
No, there was 4 there. I'd say
4
it was
billable
4.
runs. So we're not gonna be collecting a whole lot unless someone that hasn't paid in a year or two, you know, surprises us and pays for whatever reason. You're cutting this close, very, very close.
So what, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is if we had to pay that payment this year, we would be basically
Yeah.
zipping it.
You'd be zip. You'd be running in a negative balance, and you're not allowed to do that.
No. We wouldn't know, we wouldn't be paying anything this year.
No, but what she's saying, next year we will, so.
But if they cut back on expenses, we still got the 2 units, the fire truck, the pumper truck, is it the pumper truck? And, 1 ambulance.
And we make payments on those. Those
Right.
don't end till 2024,
Right.
okay?
The only thing I'm looking at is if we don't and somebody gets hurt lifting somebody, or if they dump somebody, that's insurance, our insurance will probably cover it. But are we gonna have to pay more and more into workers' comp?
That's a chance like with the AEDs you're gonna take.
Right.
I cannot sign,
Right, I know
I
that.
can't sign a loan. They should have thought about that when they bought the other piece of equipment instead of fixing the one they had. I am not comfortable signing on that much money, that thousands of dollars for a period of time, not knowing if I could pay for it. How else do you want them to cut their budget? You can't cut supplies, because the supplies are for your squad.
You can't cut 13 grand, I mean, there
Yeah,
ain't that much cutting.
their payroll was at a minimum, what was payroll bill?
14
$14,000,
something.
$15,000.
I brought up about putting the safety levy on. Everybody don't agree with it, but I just thought I'd bring it up. It would be the fire and the police department together. You ain't never gonna get the police levy up, I just thought I'd bring it up.
I don't know how to, I don't, let's put it like this, I don't know anymore how to manipulate these funds to get what everybody wants or we need. It has come down that I struggle with fire, water, and sewer. Streets runs off of general. If you sign a note that you want to buy something in fire, and fire can't pay for it, it comes out of general. That's the choice you have to make. Your general account right now has got 10,000 in it. And I will not be getting in any more any levy money or real estate money anymore this year. The only money I'll be getting in is at the end of December, I'll get in the money from Charter Communications, about $3,000. And, the tax that I get from Cindy Kilowatt, it's like anywhere from $1,000 to $1,300, and whatever staff collects in income tax, and that's only a percentage, I don't get the whole thing in general.
And the income tax might come up short of what it was last year.
The only other option is capital improvements, which has an $8,000 balance, $8,702. But I mean, that has to fix whatever, whether it be the leaf machine or, that's for emergencies, I mean, it's good for, you know, for 5 years, it's gonna be a 5-year life limit on it. I mean, I'll be glad to run detailed reports so you can see how we spend the money for fire and see what you wanna cut out.
What did we, you know, purchase this, was there any major purchases this year that we did?
One thing we did do was retrofit the second engine, that was upwards of 4,000 or 5,000, I think, is what we had in that.
4 or 5.
And you've got the maintenance on 2 squads, the maintenance on 2 of those. 2
Right,
engines.
right, and that's another thing, we've talked about dropping the maintenance on the big trucks, for all the more they run, we talked about dropping that down every other year to try to save money regardless, and I'm not gonna tell you that's gonna save us for this expense, I can't tell you that, but it will save money. I mean, you're talking in the 3 big trucks, which we have to pump test them every year, we can't get out of that. But if we take the maintenance out, changing the oil and everything else, them trucks only get 100 hours a year on them. I can't see where that oil can be bad in that amount of time, you know what I'm saying? But we've always changed the oil, that's just been a routine we've followed for years now. I mean,
How much was spent on the radio, how much did we encumber for the radios? Did we set back for the radios that we won't have that next year,
Well-
is that right, or?
See, that's the thing to look at, we're paying to have some of them.
that was
stay.
another added expense, that was almost $5,000, well, I think it was around 4, to flash the old radios over and get batteries for them, which we had to do to have enough radios, and we haven't paid that yet. So
I just got a bill from Minolta for 4,900, was that it?
Probably. So, I mean, we've had expenses this year with the radios, and like I said, I've been honest with you, I've avoided this grant for quite some time now because of this reason. But after talking to Allison and the fear of losing this grant at any given time, I mean, we're potentially throwing $40,000 away, but I also understand the other side of it, you gotta be able to come up with the match.
And didn't you say that you had to have additional radios coming up more than what we can afford? Through all the
I'll be honest, I don't know what they ever figured out with that. I was waiting to hear back from Chief Martin. Chief thought that Motorola would go down to the price that they agreed to, and I'm hoping they do. I don't know an answer on that yet. That grant's still in the works. We haven't received the money from that grant yet. That's the regional grant for the 8 portables and 1 mobile. See, that's what's making it hard to determine the money this year. These radios have thrown us off an awful lot because we've got so much going on with the radios that they've kind of made us go into. I mean, we didn't have no choice. You know, that's kind of thrown us off, which we've covered 95% of the cost of them radios with grants. Thank God. I mean, if not, we'd be in a lot worse shape than we're in now, so.
I have encumbered here in fire 51,000, Bill. I believe 49,000 of that is your radios.
Right.
We did get that money.
Right, that is the fire marshal grant, but we will get an additional 30-some thousand from the regional grant that has not come in yet. That'll come in, I'm not even sure when that'll come in. That's the grant that we went in on with Perry and Brewster and it purchased, we thought the rest of our radios, but then they cut us down to the 8 mobiles. We were supposed to get like 18, which is where the additional money come in to flash the old sheriff radios to give us enough portables to go. And that's all a big step that's gonna be happening here in the next month. I mean, they're talking about us being active by the 5th of January, so.
It's coming up.
I mean, it's out there. Let me ask you this, and I hate to throw this out there, but I gotta figure out a way to make this work. What if we forget about the second cot? What if we go down to 1 cot? If we go down to 1 cot, we only equip the new squad with a power cot, we leave the old squad the way it is. Now, the reason I don't like that idea is, like I said over there, we're gonna bury that squad. There's no doubt in my mind that new squad is gonna run every single squad call we get them. I don't like it, but if that can get us out of the predicament we're in, especially in the day shift calls, if we would drop down, that would drop us down to 44,000. If we can get a 75% match on that, you're looking, our cost would be, if I'm figuring off the top of my head, roughly $11,000 for one.
And that we would have to pay at the time that we got the grant?
That I would have to talk to Allison, because everything we told her over there, we were pushing for 2. She figured almost everything we did off of 2, because we said we didn't wanna have to get, like I said, in 24, which is several years away, we're gonna have to look at a new cot. When we refurb or we rebuy 135, which is our 03 ambulance, which you're looking 2024, 2025, they're pushing these new safety standards where you're gonna have to put the new cot inside the box. That buys us 6 years, but the problem with waiting that long, like you said, now you're gonna pay the interest on that cot when you get the ambulance. That's where they get you. They're starting these new safety standards now where, and she told you over there that Tuesday night, you know, now you're gonna buy a new ambulance, which we're gonna do eventually. I mean, I know it's 6 years down the road or whatever, but now you're gonna pay for that cot then, and you're gonna pay, who knows what the price is gonna be, plus you're gonna pay the full interest of the cot. That's why I'm trying to jump now, because we're jeopardizing this money, one way or another. We're potentially gonna lose this grant money. And like I said, I hate to build up one squad, not the other one, I really truly do, but it's better than nothing. And I don't know, she may work a finance plan out for 3 years on one cot, she may tell me we can't do it. I don't know, until I talk to her, and that's all I can do is talk to her, and unfortunately, I can't make the next council meeting this month, I'm on afternoon, so.
Too late anyway. That's the thing, they always jam us. Like right now is the end of the month, or the end of the year, we got, what, 11 days to make up our money.
Right. And like I said, I told her that's gotta be contingent we even get the grant to start with, because if we don't get the $40,000 grant, this whole thing's out the window. There ain't no way we're even looking at either of them. And she understands that.
So I'd like to get at least one anyways. I think you could probably make, I don't know if they would follow it, but some kind of rules on it.
I mean, all I could do is tell them, if we could switch it up. If it's a day shift call, we got a 2-man crew, we run a new one. If it's in the evening and we got a 5-man crew, we take the old one. And I mean,
At least it would be a start, maybe we could get another one for another grant.
and that, I mean, that's an option too.
I don't know if
We
they're
could
gonna
do, try one with this grant and try to get a grant for another one, and maybe that's the way we bail us out. I just would like to see us at least try for one.
Yeah, I would.
No matter what you're
I
gonna
have
do,
no
you're
problem
gonna,
with that.
you're gonna find them.
And I don't think BWC's gonna keep these grants going forever either.
No.
And like I said, I mean, we don't have to do this by the 14th, but you're losing that $3,000 off by the 14th.
No, right now, we're about to be saving every
But
penny we can.
if we go January 1st and tell them we wanna buy that cot, they're gonna give us that. More than likely.
I hope.
I mean, I work in sales, I know
Yeah, I
how some
hope.
of it goes, you know.
She told me she couldn't speak for after the first year, which she told everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe come the
And I
first of the year and
understand.
we say, hey, we're looking at buying one, but this is the only way we're doing it, I would think that she would come down on the price.
Wouldn't we have to still come up with $11,000 borrowed?
Well, that's what I asked. We don't know that
I would have to
at this
talk to her.
point in time. 'Cause I mean,
Everything
if they
she
said,
figured
yeah,
for
we
me
have
was
to split
for
the
two.
11, there's only 13 in there, we can't
But that
always.
would make Debbie sign it for $11,000 if we had to go to borrow the money.
No.
You can't do better.
Jack can
She's
do it.
already told you that.
Jack can do it.
Oh, Jack can sign.
Right.
There we go.
Bill, could you get a hold of her and maybe get back? Could we hold a meeting next Monday?
Yeah,
A
I mean,
special meeting, I mean,
yeah.
just for this thing here, and you can send somebody down and let us know what's.
I should be able to be here next Monday, I'm
All
off,
right.
well, yeah, I'm off next
Why
Monday.
don't you, call
I can
her?
call her or talk to her tomorrow to see if I can
See what she
start
says.
talking about one instead of two, and see where we're at with our finance options with one.
Cause I don't, general wouldn't even cover that with all that other stuff. But-
Jack can't allow to sign for no money to pay.
Hey, Jack?
Not under Big City's name, can
I
you?
signed for that fire truck.
We
put that-
We have to show that the money's there to pay for it.
No, the loan, we both did, yeah.
How's it feel?
Come on.
Santa's not coming to your house. Alan Barker off the list.
6 o'clock, okay, bro?
Yeah, whatever time is good with you guys. I gotta make sure nothing's going on that day, but I don't think there is.
You wanna get something typed up and then I'll come in tomorrow and sign it, if you have time tomorrow to do it?
Yeah, I'll get a hold of her first thing tomorrow. Like I said, it's difficult for me this week on one days, but I'll make it happen one way or another.
You're really foreman now, you can call anytime you want. You can, what are you doing? You just,
Like I said, I would like to at least try to work out one.
Okay.
You guys see where we're at.
so we're sort of dead in the water on the other thing.
Well, I understand.
For right now.
You ought to start planning on putting a levy on the ballot to get some extra money so you can, all this stuff you're coming up when you're done.
Yeah, we're working
Well,
on one.
like I said, we've talked about a levy, but I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've been honest with you. If we do a levy, I wanna fire an EMS levy. I don't want a safety levy. It's the same. I'm just being honest.
No, I'm being honest too. We can't get none other than the other way.
We haven't asked for additional money from the village since, I'm almost certain it was 2000 or 2001. So, I mean, we've been very fair and made the money stretch as far as we can. If we need to look for additional funding, then it's maybe time to look for that. But I don't wanna look for it without a purpose to have it, and maybe this is the purpose to have it.
Sounds like it.
If you're gonna do that, you might need to go into some heavy campaigning.
Well,
To make,
and I'm
the
sure-
people of the village work just exactly
I'm
what it
sure
is.
it's gonna take
You're
work.
trying to do, and they're the beneficiaries of this.
Right, it's absolutely
I
gonna
remember
take work.
when Mo was on there, we walked around, I
We
remember.
went
we
door,
walked
the
around
last level
door
we
to door.
passed, we went door to door.
I remember,
And the other thing that we need to make sure of is whoever we're talking to, we have a continuous levy. Whatever we do, we can't jeopardize that continuous levy.
right.
You have to know what you're doing. because
So
you
it's
can lose
gonna
your-
have to be an
lose it.
additional that can't jeopardize that continuous no matter which way we go. If we
Russell,
jeopardize that
yeah.
continuous, we're gonna kill ourselves.
Make sure it doesn't-
All right, I'll talk to Allison tomorrow, see what I can do with one.
All right, Bill.
We will have a meeting, what time did you say, Councilman Hartman?
You all right?
6 PM next Monday, week
Next
next Monday, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
December 10th, right?
You guys, Mark wanted that contract by the 17th. When's your next meeting, the 14th?
17th.
Okay, good enough for me. Yeah, he asked to have it approved by the 17th. I told him I'd let you know. So if that's the third reading, we should be good by then. So.
If I run the expense under fire, all the expenses from January to current, and give you a copy of it, do you wanna go through and check off things that you can see that we won't possibly have to be paying
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
save money?
Absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't mean to spring this on you. She didn't get it to me till Saturday, and I was on days today. I wanted to come talk to you Friday, and that was the plan. She was supposed to have it to me Friday, and I was over here Friday, I just didn't have it. So we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're looking good, Bill, another 50 pounds.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got a motion to go into executive session for what reason, please?
Pending,
Personnel.
pending litigation.
Pending what? Pending or threatening?
Pending or threatened litigation.
Go to second?
Second.
Bennett? Yes. Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney? Bailey?
Yes.
Schott?
Make a motion to return from executive session. No action taken.
Bennett? Yes. Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey said yes, and Schott.
Yes.
The only other thing I have is I'm gonna need a committee meeting at some time in the future to discuss ordinances. Or village ordinances as well, so other than that, I don't have anything else.
To discuss ordinances?
Yes, but nothing right now. Just
What
discuss
committee would that fall under?
Safety, I think.
Safety.
Hmm? Kenny, you are the chief of that.
You see.
What, you think I lied to you?
I'm thinking the first of the year.
No,
That's what
I
you
got
get for
an ask.
Who's on there?
Bailey and Hartman.
Other than that, I don't have any, I just need, give me till the quarter, first of the year, we'll start talking.
All right.
So just to put it back, guys, other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Chief. I had a couple things I wanted to, I got this in the mail. Donnie, I don't know if you've seen this. It's a application for municipal road funds through the county commissioners, that they have some money available. Do we want to, how do we want to do this? Do we want the committee of, to take a look at this, streets and alleys, or? And then they can get with Dawn, do you want, should we have Dawn take a look at it?
Why don't we have Donnie take a look at it, see, when he's planning, who's on streets and,
Bailey, Bennett, Hartman. This application deadline is March 15th, so we got time, I just didn't wanna let it go
have
to the
Donnie
end.
check it out first and see what he thinks. I'll go over, yeah, find out what.
It says that they have approximately $725,000, to
Grant
distribute for, improvement of streets in the cities and villages in Stark County. So,
We could use it all.
yes, we could, but if we can get anything, we'll take a small piece of the pie, or. I don't think it's a grant, this is just an application. You simply fill out this and send it back to them, and, the instructions are on here. You can have more than one project, you gotta basically tell them what you're looking to do.
Bailey, is this the one that the only one they'll pay that's, is nature?
The only one that we pay is the old state routes.
So the only thing that they'll give us money for is Main Street,
Down to the bridge and all the way up to
to Seventh.
the seventh, no, fifth. Fifth and over.
What about 93?
That's Steve.
State route, that's-
This is old routes, it ain't to route no more property.
Oh, you mean out for 212?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, take a look at it and see what we think.
Look at it.
I'll pass that over to Dawn. I also got this from the church, from a church in Navarre, where they're having, I'm a little bit familiar with this because my daughter actually used to get involved with this. It's like a mission thing that they get, Christian teenagers will go to a certain area and they will help with minor repairs, fixing up some houses for people maybe that are elderly or people that, basically need help. So the church in Navarre, sent me this. Who's on
Is it the full church or the?
It's the Stanwood Community Church. What they basically want is, if we know some people that need some help, this is gonna be the end of June of next year. They need 30 to 40 homes in the area of western Stark County, Bethlehem, Lawrence, Sugar Creek, and Tuscarawas Townships, including the communities of Beach City, Brewster, Canal, Fulton, East Greenville, Navarre, and North Lawrence, Wilmore. So if we know of anyone that we can recommend that would need some, painting or maybe some steps added to a porch or, something minor, they don't obviously do major renovation, but gutter work and stuff like that. Do you want to, take this, Rod? What can we do? I mean, can we put something out there? Can we, I guess that's what I'm asking you guys, is what can we do to try to help?
I can go around and get information from people, elderly residents.
Yeah, if anybody knows of,
Talk to that Rudy.
Huh?
oh, there you go, he knows every house in the village. Rick Savage,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
The roof.
And again, this stuff doesn't need to be until,
Thank you.
January 12th,
All
but,
right.
if you need help with that, just let me know. I'd be willing to, And it's a good program, and I know my daughter, did it several summers, and, it's very good. It teaches the kids a lot, and it helps people in the community that need help. Oh, I did talk to Pat. Deb already touched a little bit on this. I talked to Pat on Friday, the IT guy, for about an hour, and he has, he basically wants to make sure that we got everything covered with the internet if we go away from this other end. But we may not actually be going away from that for the other buildings, so. He's gonna come in and talk to us when he gets back. He was leaving that day for vacation in Florida. He'll be back the 14th. So, and I asked him if he would be willing to come in and kind of touch base with us. I don't know much about it, but, so that's kind of, we're still progressing with it, with the Verizon. It's just, he wants to make sure we got all the bases covered. I have anything. Does anybody else got anything?
Don?
Oh, jeez, I forgot Don and Steve. Don,
Yeah.
how are you?
It's too quiet over there.
I got a couple things we need to scrap, a computer monitor and a old-time clock.
I make a motion that we scrap them.
Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thayer,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yeah.
Chuck.
Yes.
Okay, leaf pickup, Tar said he finished up today, finished everything up, so it's done. Yeah. Our water loss is down to 22%. That was for the month of September.
Back on leaf pickup, I have one thing, I thought the leaves were supposed to be taken out to the curb line for them to pick up.
You're picking them up the air or what?
No, it was not put out to the curb line, and they were still, I don't care, but it was for their safety that they didn't go behind, on that drop-off behind them mailboxes, pick up the leaves across the street from me. And, you know, I'm all for getting the leaves out and picked up, but the gentleman needs to put them out to the curb line like he's supposed to, instead of having them picked up from halfway in the yard where men could have fell down that slope behind them mailboxes. I don't wanna see our.
I'll mention it to Tar. That's his call, I mean, he's out there on the job, so I'll talk to him.
We got one woman that the trees haven't fallen, she gets this every year down on Second Avenue, so it will come, but she always gets me. If she hasn't, in the backyard, she puts them out in the road then.
Tell her we're done for the year, she contacted her.
I told her that last year too.
Or you could just go sweep them up for
Okay, water loss 22% is coming down. We probably won't do no more on the water system because of the weather until spring.
What's it down to?
22%.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we was at, the highest, 72%.
Wow.
That's really great.
Quite a bit of
Some
loss.
savings.
Water line project, got the first preliminary run on that. This is a long way from being finished. Right now, 5,600 feet of pipe. It'll cost us $971,000. That's, like I say, this is not, it's gotta be going over again, some stuff will be thrown out and stuff like that, you know, it's only the first preliminary. But, I'm gonna make everybody a copy if they wanna see what.
I'd like to see a copy of that, because there's a lot of grants out that we could, apply for to help pay for
Gotta get
that. A
your
lot of infrastructure grants.
Did we ever get the fence up over to Wilmot, pump station?
The fence?
The fence around the new piece
Don't believe so.
that we were supposed to put up? That was part of the deal as far as I remember. Do you remember that, Jack? You don't probably.
You mean for the contractor? Yeah, I don't think that was.
We were supposed to put it around the new pump
The
station.
city was.
Yes.
Didn't the homeowner say, well, that wasn't
He
the one, the
wasn't
homeowner
really-
said they didn't want a
Yeah,
fence,
he
was it?
didn't really care if he put a fence up or not. He just
Okay.
wanted shrubbery put around there
Yeah.
to make it look nice.
Yeah.
Well,
And
then
he
we
didn't
still-
vote to do that.
Are
They didn't vote to do that.
Yeah, just voted to be sure.
Instead of a fence.
So we're gonna put the shrubbery in.
I think they already did. Did they already do that? Donnie, do you know?
No, I don't think we did
I
that
haven't been
either.
over there, I haven't seen that.
That's probably something that'll be.
Keep that,
taken care of
write
in
that
spring.
down so we get that done, whoever is responsible
Yes.
for it.
Oh,
I'm
my
not
God.
responsible for
I'll
it.
check that over Wilmot.
Gee, why
Thank you,
don't
Don.
Take her home.
Well, the meeting's done.
Steven, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yeah, two quick things, hopefully quick. I had the question about non-village owned utility poles, and can you run cable through those without getting permission from the village? And I looked into it, and while under revised code 4933.81, a municipal corporation, electric light company is not an electric supplier within that meaning, so you have broad discretion over how you treat your own utility poles. A private utility that owns those poles, the non-village owned poles, are an electric supplier, therefore they fall under Public Utility Commission. I couldn't find anything that would say that the village could restrict it, and even the owner of that pole, you know, whoever it is, First Energy, under the Ohio Administrative Code, they must provide an attaching entity with non-discriminatory access to any pole under rates, terms, and conditions that are just and reasonable.
And they could charge it for it.
Yeah, so what I ended up with is I can't find anything that says the village can restrict it, and even the company that owns the pole can't say no. They have to say, sure, you can put it up. So I have to come to the conclusion that I don't think they have to get your permission to use the non-village owned poles. I think they get the non-discriminatory access from the owner of it. So that was the first item. Second item is back to the two parcels that the village is in the process of acquiring through the land bank. As you know, last month there was the meeting on that. At the meeting, both of them were approved. So that's kind of the first phase is done. It'll now go to the land bank to get a preliminary judicial report and also go forward with the procedural. It's an administrative process through the Board of Revision to take title to those two pieces of property. So there's two affidavits that have to be signed for that next step to go forward. I have them here. And I asked what the tentative deadline would be if we can get these back sooner. They're saying probably February is when it would go through all of the procedural steps, and then we get, everything's on track with that. And then I will be there tomorrow evening, so if there's any way.
These need to be signed by Jack.
Yeah,
I make a motion that Jack sign
and we need a notary, that's it.
Second.
I'm
these. You got your stamp?
I do not, you already have some.
Bennett,
Yes?
Fair,
Yes.
Hartman, City,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Shot.
Yes.
Steve, let me ask you, do we get a deed to this property after it's all done?
Yes,
Well, sure.
Okay.
you'll get it,
I was just wondering what we did.
you'll get a deed in the same manner as you would through a sheriff's sale.
Okay.
Or a formal
I
foreclosure.
got some of them before.
This is just a streamline so you don't go through a judicial foreclosure, but you'll get a deed to it just the same.
Why, you wanna open up a McDonald's or something?
No,
Where is this located?
So we need to get that notarized. I can't sign until we get it notarized. Right?
On this side
I
of
can
town,
look
on
at
the east
these
side of
on
town,
it now.
Okay.
all Main Street, all
Can you
all
also,
Second,
I've seen notaries, I'm not as much of a notary, maybe I should be, but that where you can,
And
you
third.
sign it and you put your name and it will write my commission expires and then I'll put the expiration date.
you know, like I said, that's just
I don't know.
preliminary, that's not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, to then to get it done, we can get it submitted, if that's not sufficient.
You're just.
So you want me to sign?
Bring it.
Okay, I'll do it.
I bet nobody else here goes to places and takes their tools of trade with them every place they go.
Thank you.
You were here.
I have my
You were
tools.
councilwoman.
I have another stamp in my drawer, it's just the old fashioned
Yeah.
metal stamp.
Oh, see, that's what I.
That would work.
Oh, you want that? I thought you were talking about the state.
No, I don't have net loss
Well,
or,
yours has probably
We
got
can
an
get that
date on,
from
so
me.
watch yourself.
no, they don't have dates,
Oh, don't they
just
anymore?
the seal of the state.
Anybody else got anything?
Oh, don't forget about the
Yes.
flag.
What is that, safety committee? Since we're already meeting next Monday at what, 6? If we could meet, the safety committee could meet immediately following that with the chief? No?
Beginning of the year. Let's get me through December to January, please. Just letting you guys know I'm gonna need one in the future, but just give me to January.
Are you playing Santa Claus again?
Kinda.
We're not having one now.
It's for all the working for his Lexapol, you guys have to review and work on.
No.
You think your daughter figured out who Santa was?
December, though, it was Mr.
She was looking like, really, Dad?
What did you mention?
Flags. For,
Flags.
Yes, we do need these flags replaced.
yes,
Do we need a motion to replace the flags?
Debbie can take it. Tar or somebody takes care of the flag.
Willie always used to do it. I mean, I can get a hold of Larry at the Legion to get new flags.
Okay.
Well, I think that's where Willie went through with Legion.
Well, talk to Tar and see how many we need.
Okay.
Because I have to send something to him. And when you lower the flag out here, make sure it don't touch the building. I know it was kinda cold. But
You're
the flag-
welcome to lower it.
No, I ain't gonna touch it.
There you go.
Well, then put your flag.
Well, I don't care.
In the middle of a windstorm and a,
Yeah,
He
you
who
do care, or you
complains
wouldn't
should
have
do
brought
it
it
the
up.
next time.
alright, I will get a hold of Tar and find out how many flags there are.
Next time, I ain't gonna say nothing. Let's old building.
I didn't do it out of disrespect.
I know you did.
You could've came over and helped him if you seen
One
it.
thing I do want, and Barb, if you'll put this in your notes, and anybody, Courtney, if you're still taping this, there are no active soliciting permits in this village as we speak. There are none. So if anybody has somebody come to your house that is soliciting, please contact the police department. There is to be nobody soliciting because I have not issued any soliciting permits.
I'm starting to get calls again now, they want me to change my electric company. I told this guy the other day, I said, there is an ordinance in the village that I reside in. I cannot use anybody's electricity but theirs. Would you please put me on the do not call list?
It's still called.
Sure.
I have one last thing, Mayor. I promise I'll make it quick. We have some old lockers down in the garage that we are no longer using. I don't think, you don't have any use for them, do you? Hills and Dales Police Department is looking for some lockers. They're just sitting there, they're scrap metal to me. I get a motion to donate.
How many you got?
I have no clue, I've got a ton. I'm only gonna give them a couple of them.
I'll make a motion to give them to him.
I'll second that.
Bennett?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Shot.
Yes.
One other thing, since we're on that roll, the bicycles that you have there, what if we ever decide to do with the bicycles where the kids have left them and they've been sitting for the past couple of
We
years?
used to have a sale, didn't we?
No. You know, we didn't have anything. We didn't do anything.
How many bicycles are down there?
Probably 20, 30.
Gee,
Where are they at?
wow.
In the garage on the left side.
Are they decent bicycles?
So what I thought what I was told was that, and I could be off on this, I was not here, this was prior to me taking over chief, that's how long they've been down there. But, the Buckeye Career Center, I believe I made a phone call to them, they will take them, refurbish them, and give them to kids in need.
Well, all those kids are probably grown up by now.
One of them
There's
might be
one-
yours,
they've
Gene.
been
Thankfully from my experience, people still have kids, so.
I bought it from.
How long
Bert
have they,
Down
how
Schroeder.
long
You
is
know, he said that-
the
I
newest
hope you
one
don't
there?
fall.
How long has it been in?
And I said, well, because I'm old,
6
people
months.
wanna fall and break my
6
head.
months?
When a kid doesn't know.
And nobody, and no kid has ever come to try to claim it or even make a
If they would,
report.
we would tell them to go pick a bike out.
They don't make a report or anything, huh? That's amazing.
Hey, if you don't wanna do Dustin, then don't do that down there. I'm
Yeah.
for it.
Oh, that's,
Beautiful.
yeah, that's fine.
Like I said,
Is
they've been,
anybody in town that their children wants one? Do they
I
have
would
it?
say if we have needy children in town first, offer it to the needy children.
I'm fine with that. I don't wanna head that up. If you guys wanna find a way to get them to come here and do that, I'm okay. I just don't wanna.
Might wanna ask the CIC.
You're right.
I mean, if there's someone local in town, I know we have a couple of handymen that want to take them and fix them up, and we can bring them somewhere for the kids to pick. Maybe, who knows where? I mean, they're.
It's only their own family.
I just don't know what to do with them at this point. They're in the garage. I'm planning on this spring cleaning the garage that I've gotten everywhere on the department. But that
There's
garage.
enough kids in Beach City probably would like to have a bike, so
Okay.
give it to them.
So-
Bernie fixed up a mess up for somebody up in Madison.
Does
They
if you
gave 'em
guys
away.
know anybody that would like to fix them up, come work with them. I also don't want to be liable for giving a kid a bike that they're going to get hurt on.
Have them come with their parent. Make their parent sign a piece of paper.
So I don't know. Is there any legal liability to that, Stephen, that you can think of just donating bikes to?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm fine with whatever you guys want to do with them. They are past my time of limitations for people to claim them.
I
Every
should
one
say,
of them.
unless there's some kind of open and obvious danger, like there's, something ticking in a box on the back of the bike.
There's no-
That might be a problem.
If we
Nothing
gave it to
I'm aware
them
of.
down below,
Yeah,
that's up
right.
to them then, we wouldn't have to worry about
That's
that.
See, it's got a knife sitting there.
What do you think?
I was gonna say, if there's kids that want them, have the parents come in. If there's no one comes forward, then we can donate. How's that?
Good enough.
Okay.
Could we do it to a church maybe? Or we just give them to one of the local churches, or tell a couple of the churches to come get them and.
We're just pushing our problem onto them.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cheating. Okay.
Couldn't we just like put this off till the next meeting, since, give us time to think about
I
it?
don't care whatever you guys
No,
want
I'm
to do.
just saying,
They've
that
only
way we
sat
can
there
think
for
about
6+
what to
years,
do.
whatever you guys wanna do with them. The lockers I appreciate, the bikes, yes, they are probably need to go,
And they are at the,
they're at the garage.
The
I
garage
think
down there at
Georgie would
Trolley
be a
Park?
good person to do
Is
that.
that, is that the garage you're talking about?
Yeah, that's police department. Where we park the SUV.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the, don't we have a little garage down here by the park? By Trolley Park?
I think Boy Scouts used to.
Boy Scout just had the building, but that other garage was torn down, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. I thought it was.
Anybody got anything else?